Alright, well, today's been fun. Had my colonoscopy first thing this morning. No issues. Good for another 10 years. Not another, but good for 10 years. That was the first time I'd ever had to do that. I'm getting old. But this thing's running good. And my transmission fluid finally came in. I gave up trying to find the correct one from Honda, because apparently it doesn't exist anymore. They changed the grades shortly after this year, and the newest one, the HCF2, is incompatible with the CVTF, which is what this takes. So I finally said to hell with it after buying 12 quarts of crap that doesn't work, and just bought some synthetic AMSOIL Universal CVT, because I've had exceptional luck with AMSOIL stuff in the past, and I don't expect that this will be any different. And then I've also got some AMSOIL OW20 and a new filter. We'll do a little engine oil change after we get her warmed up. Now, I'm also going to put it up on my quick jacks, because I haven't even jacked the corner off of this car off the ground yet. I don't even know what's under it, what it looks like, how bad it is, or if it's bad. It drives great, so I don't expect to find anything terribly disheartening, but we shall see. And go from there. But yeah, I feel great after the procedure, no issues whatsoever. And so, since I got the rest of the day, figured I might as well get some stuff done. So we're gonna go warm this bad boy up and start jacking it up and draining some oil. There we go. I love this thing. Alright, let's see what we got to do to find all of the drains and fills for the trans and the engine. Alright, we're up underneath it. I think there's supposed to be a cover here. Not sure. Maybe not. I don't know. Looks like the forklifts at the auction did a little bit of chewing on my under panels, but you'll have that. But yeah, here's a transmission. She's a little warm. Oil pan, nice and warm. Oil filter, super simple. Everything else looks good. CV shafts, no leaks from the boots. Composite motor mount, neat. Yep, no leaks over there either for the CV shaft. Everything looks pretty decent. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. No major issues. Why the hell does the air compress? Is that the HV? Is that the AC? It looks like it. Why does the AC... Maybe it does have an electrical supply too, because there's an AC controller back there. I thought it had an electrical compressor on it. And looking at the size of this thing, it looks like it's a combo. You have a belt-driven part of it and an electric-driven part of the air conditioner compressor. Wow, I bet that's another not cheap part. Holy smoke, that's entertaining. Let's see what we got back going on there. Exhaust is in really good shape, nice and clean. O2 sensor looks good. Smallest exhaust in the history of exhausts. That's got to be 1.5 inches if it's anything, but it looks perfect. Muffler's all the way in the back. Other than that dent on this side in the kicker, in the kick panel, the rocker panel, I really don't see much going on here. I see a couple of these bolts. That's from the forklift. They're kind of bent. You'll have that. But no, this thing looks really, really good. I'm happy. It's the first time I've been under this car, and it's pretty darn good. So that's nice. That's really nice. I may even pull the wheels off, check the brakes. I haven't heard anything rattling or loose or anything, so let's do a little sway bar tug. That's the flexiest sway bar I've ever seen in my life, but it's not loose. Yeah, that's got to be from the auction. Man, glad they didn't hook anything serious. Yeah, both sides got a little ground off there, but that's not too big a deal. I think we're okay. Everything else looks pretty good. Shocks look dry. It certainly drives like they're dry, so we're good there. Alright, so I guess we're just gonna drain this transmission fluid and see what she comes out looking like. Try to get you set up so you might be able to see this mess. Alright, well, seems that this is just a, there she goes, 3/8 square adapter, which is nice. Oh yeah, horribly black. Not too bad though. There's a little bit of fuzz on what seems to be the magnet, and I guess with the dipstick in up top, it's sucking a vacuum. I'm just going to let it gurgle because otherwise it could spill all over the place. But yeah, she's ugly. I can't say that that's certainly not recently been changed. Alright, so we're going to let that continue to drain, and then we're going to go see if there's anything special about refilling it. I don't think there is. Just 3.5 quarts or so and send it. Alright, well, she'd been dribbling for a while. I'm going to wipe the schmoo off of this. This is just like a snowmobile transmission, except it uses a metal belt, or side-by-side, I guess, anything with a CVT. And now, I should probably change the washer, but I don't have another one. But looks pretty good, so I'm going to get you back in there. Try not to drop it in my pan, which I've done many, many times. And we're going to torque this down to 36 foot-pounds. Get the oil out of the way. There she goes. Alright, let's see what we got here. 36, done. Alright. And according to the service manual, there is supposed to be a cover in here. But, well, what you gonna do? Okay, so now we're gonna come up topside and add 3 quarts to the top. And that's all she wrote. So, let's go get my fluid and we will start pouring. Phew. Ooh, that's stinky. Yeah, I don't know if that's what that stuff looked like originally, but it may have. It's interesting, that stuff smells, it's much more of an oil than a transmission fluid, which I guess would make sense because it's a mechanical system with a chain and all sorts of other stuff. So it smells more like really light rear end grease, rear end oil, than I would say automatic transmission fluid, which makes sense. We'll see how she likes it. I'm sure if it's wrong, we'll find out. I don't quite understand why Honda would make a non-backwards compatible fluid, but it seems like they did with this thing. Like everything else related to this car, everything is a freak. Much like the windshield. If you notice, that's not repaired yet, because the place I had gotten to get me one, they got the wrong one sent to them, and when they really dug into it, the only place that the independent guys can get this windshield is from the dealer. So Safelite, here I come for $900. Yay. I guess you want to play with all the electronics, you gotta pay. So, alright, we're gonna put the cap in that thing, start it up, put it in gear, see what she sounds like, and go from there. Alright, checked it, the level is spot on. Let's see if I can get this thing to actually work. Turn the traction control off, and maybe this will. Yep. Seems okay. Put that back. Alright, now to the engine oil. Alright, engine oil is going to be pretty darn similar. And that is a, what is it? 17. Well, the nice thing is they're not stripped. Whoa, going the distance. Yeah, that oil wasn't too bad. It seemed like it had been just changed before this thing died, but wasn't too terrible. Now this thing, that trans only takes 3 quarts. This should take just under 4 with the filter, which is kind of nice because, you know, it's a little nicer than an 8-quart oil change at 12 bucks a quart. Yeah, she's looking pretty good. But we'll figure we'll give it a good oil change, make sure she's got the right 0W20 in it, nice new Wix filter, and we'll go from there. So we'll be back once this is finished draining. I also really like that. Shit. Well, that if you know where to put the pan, the oil filter's in the right place, but that was due to spill. There you go. But you can still use the same pan, even though this is kind of a small one. But when it first goes, it makes a mess. Oh well. Back in a few. Alright, let's clean off the plug. And again, I should probably have changed the gasket, but it wasn't leaking, and I bet it won't leak this time. Clean the rest of this off. Get this out of here. Guess I should have used a bigger pan. It seems suspiciously more than 4 quarts, because that's all this thing supposedly holds. Alright, now we'll go grab the filter, slap it on. Actually, before I forget, 29. Click. Yeah, I was looking at it backwards, but I had an idea where it was. So now we'll get the filter. That should do it. Alright, I like it. Yeah, okay. Now we just got to go up top and put 3.8 quarts of oil in it and check our level. Probably doesn't really need a funnel, but I'm a slob. And since I don't want to have 6 ounces of oil left over, and that filter I think is slightly larger than the factory one, we're going a full 4 quarts. That's it, she's full. And we'll start her up and see how she ends up. Alright, first thing we'll do, go into the maintenance info. Tire rotation. Okay. Alright. Neat. Good. And we'll see what that ends up being. Probably 10,000 miles, but we'll see. Excellent. Alright. Alright, dummy lights out. Woohoo, power! Alright, let's go let it set for a second, check the level, and that's probably it. That was simple. Drop the CB. Alright, back in a second. Alright, let's see what we got here. A nice straight dipstick, I like that. Get down there. Yeah, just a little above the dot, so I think that's going to do nicely. And we're done. So, I guess, since we've looked under the front, haven't seen anything other than this stupid dent from whatever that was, let's look under the back, see what's back here. There. Ugh, blind. Alright, everything looks pretty good. No leaks. Sway bar is nice and tight, bushings are nice and tight. Everything looks dry. Nice little skid plate under the fuel tank. Exhaust is cherry. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Got a Leaky Shock. Now for 227,000 miles, and I will guarantee that is the original. That's not too bad. Let's check this one. Where is this one? Yep, both rears are shot, but not really. It doesn't drive badly, so I'm not in a big hurry to change it. Looks like the forklift got that thing too. So, nah, she looks pretty good. Everything looks solid. Nothing's all cracked up for 200,000 miles, 225,000 miles. Honda, Sankey, spring, we got, yeah, everything looks solid. You can see the electronics for the wiring. It's pretty neat. Fairly easy to get to. Emergency brake cables, brake lines are all nice and clean. Oh yeah, yeah, she's a good car. I think this thing's gonna be good for a while. I really do. Yep. Yeah, she looks good. Just gotta maybe think about getting some shocks for the rear, and that will correct it. They're probably $1 million a piece, just because everything else on this stupid hybrid is ridiculous. Fuel tank. Yeah, oh, everything looks nice and straight, other than that little dent in the rocker panel. So, I guess I probably need to take the wheels off and then take a look at the brakes. So, give me a couple of minutes and we're going to get the tool out. Since we're up in the air, we might as well take a look at everything. Alrighty. Caps are just plastic, but I'm sure they're $1,750,000 a piece because I believe these are hybrid specific wheels. I did just notice something interesting. It's got the same mark on it, JWB or whatever the hell it is, that the original wheels on my old Stratus, which was a Mitsubishi Eclipse, had. So that's kind of neat. These are 19s. Boy, yeah, I'm probably actually going to torque those because they are some really small acorns. That's not a lot of ugga-duggas. A little rusty. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Oh, brakes look fantastic. Oh yeah. Brakes are wonderful, so that's good. That's been changed, I would think, because I don't think that these screws would look like that if this were original. Now, yeah, very little, almost effectively no lip. So, they're not great, but I'm not worried about it. There's nothing loose on this side anyway. Check the steering. Oh no, tight as a drum. And I knew that because it drives like that. How about the shock? Alright, front shocks are good. Nice, and it's already grabbed the sway bar links, so they're good. Solid. I like it. This part of the car is super simple, but this looks really good. It really does look like, well, it's got Nissans. Those are maybe original. The pads, I doubt, are. But you never know. You don't use the brakes a lot on these things, so we'll slap that bad boy back on, pull off a rear, see what it looks like. Alright, let's see what we got back here. No kidding! Drums! What are the odds? Okay. Alright. No ridge. No ridge at all. The shoe material looks good. Yep. Mechanism looks good. I mean, it's a little dusty, but other than that, it's fairly clean. No wheel bearing. That may not, well, that may be just a bare seep. Doesn't seem like it's dripping, but it's got a little bit more dust on that upper part of it than I like. But it drives fine, so I'm not going to bother with them. But, alright, so now that I know it's got drums, I'm definitely going to check the other side. And just to make sure everything's good and we don't have a leaking wheel cylinder. That's all fine. So, good. This back end is good. Cool. Get this back on, hit the other side. Thought there'd be nothing interesting over here, and there wasn't in there. It's all good, but got a mismatched lug nut. Kind of seems to be the same taper, but it's at least 2 millimeters bigger in hex. I don't know when that was done, but these are the new tires. The fronts are a little older than these. Thought they'd all been forward and replaced at the same time, but they're very evenly worn, but the rears have more life left in them. But I'm probably going to have to get another lug nut for that, because that aggravates the hell out of me. Even though you can't change a tire on this thing because it doesn't have a spare, that still annoys me. See if they did it up here. No, these are all the same. What in the world? Somebody, you know, it was funny, I was thinking to myself, look at this garbage. When I was putting these other ones back on by hand, it's like, boy, it would be real easy to cross-thread these because they don't like starting. Some butcher at a tire shop tried to start it with a gun, and that's what you end up with. So, and it's probably the same dude that lost the other lug nut. Jesus. Oh no, that's probably when that happened. That would be when that happened. They tore that, they had to destroy that cross-threaded lug nut to get it out, and instead of getting a correct one, they just slapped another one on the one they didn't screw up. That's got to be what that was. Wonderful. But anyway, so alright, this looks good up back here, no issues. And the shock again. Yeah, it's not moist, it's just dusty. So I think it's going to be alright. We're not going to change that yet. So, put this back on, check that other front. I also just realized something. The stud on the back wheel that the oversized one came off of is butchered. It has thread damage. So, that's wonderful. Somebody farkled up a stud while they were at it. This is why I do my own work. I think I'm going to hammer that out since this is super easy to get to. I'm going to pound that out and take it to the parts store and get a lug nut and a stud after I check the front. Yeah, my guess is that wheel that's butchered off of this one here was actually the one that was in the back, so they must have rotated the tires after they butchered the lug nuts, because this looks very even. It doesn't appear that they've changed any of these studs, and that screwed up one is screwed up. So that's most likely what they did. Now how they did it all the way down there, I don't know, but instead of fixing it properly, they butchered it. So we're going to fix it properly. But everything up front here looks great. Going up. Flip the safeties. And going down. Alright, now we're going to go figure out what torque spec to torque the 19 of those that are left to, and get the jacks out of the way and run to town and grab a stud and a new wheel nut. Alright, so we got this set to 80 pound-feet. And repeat on the other side. They are M12 by 1.5. Yay. Alright, first impression, the transition from engine to battery to charging seems a bit less janky. Seems a little smoother. Granted, I've gone about a mile. It's running fine. Seems to be doing well. I don't feel anything suspicious or clanky or clicky or clacky from that chain in the transmission with the non-Honda oil in it. Yeah, it feels smoother than it was, I would say, just right off the bat. And we will see what this little acceleration is like. I don't know where this guy's going. Alright, so farm truck we're about to get behind. Yeah, I think it is smoother. Well, we're going to be behind him for a while, so yay. Yeah, she's running good, and I do have to say it is notably smoother switching between full battery, then charge the battery, you know, run on the battery, charge the battery, and engine. It's not as clunky, so that AMSOIL seems to be functioning, which is what I want. So now I've got enough to do 3 engine oil changes and 4 transmission oil changes, and I just had to buy a case of each. That's pretty nice. So, wonderful. So we're going to get back to the house, get this lug nut swapped out, and we are going to be finished. Alright, got the new stud, new lug nut, all $4.82. installed. So we got 10 or 20 matching lug nuts and studs, which is nice. Everything else works. It's running good. And I think we're in pretty good shape right now. I don't see anything I need to do at this point other than if I get real bored, I still got to pop that dash out and fix the tack needle. Just smack that with my finger, knock it back where it's supposed to be, and maybe cut a little hole on the inside of the rocker panel on the other side and try to pound it out straight, but that certainly doesn't change the driving. And I tried to line up the slots in the Honda with the valve stems. You know, you got to be precise here. This is a you know, high-tech piece of equipment. Anyway, I think I've finally got all of my costs put together. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, so I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm going to start seeing what I can do to make that video watchable. Not like most of the rest of these, which are probably abject garbage. Anyway, hope you're all having a good day, and by the way, if you're 50, get a colonoscopy. It's worth knowing whether you've got any risk. Seriously. Talk to you later. Take care.